of Nazareth. He wrote 3 volumes in this reflection on his life's seeking of Christ. Anyway, he was reflecting on the reality that in the modern world, very often Jesus or God is kind of a burden to the modern man. It's like, don't bother me with your commands. You're getting in my way. I have everything I need on my own. God is sort of a bother to modern society. And that isn't anything new. This is exactly what Amos was talking about. Amos was like, when is the new moon going to come? When is the Sabbath going to be over so we can get back to business? God, you're a burden to us. Leave us alone. We take care of ourselves. And, that attitude can creep into our lives, if we let it. Do we recognize ourselves, if you will, as the lost sheep? The one that Jesus puts on his shoulders and carries. Do we think we're one of the 99 that are good, we're fine, we're okay? We really don't need your help, Lord. We don't need your commands. We don't need your guidance. We're good. Just don't bother us. And, I think one of the, I don't want to be overly critical of anybody or anything, but I think one of the challenges of the church in the past 50 years or so is that we've tried to make our religion easier. Like once upon a time, every Friday, a universal discipline of the church, every Friday, no meat, right? Well, maybe that was too hard for people, so let's make it easier. And the holy days of obligation were fixed. And he says, well, maybe that's too hard for people. Let's make it easier. It hasn't worked. Our faith has to call us out of ourselves, and we recognize that the disciplines that God gives to us are good for the disciplines that the church, Holy Mother Church, gives to us, are good for us. When Jesus calls Matthew has reached the point, I guess, in his life where he recognizes that he needs something more. And something more for Matthew is going to be something less. Because Matthew was rich and comfortable. And now he is going to, by his own choice, give up his comfort and his wealth and follow Christ. We're going to hear this Sunday in the Sunday Gospel that Jesus sends out his followers with nothing except their faith that God will provide. And so today we kind of take a step back, and I know we're all here on this First Friday, and you're not obligated to be here, and you recognize that you're here for the grace of God. You're here to worship God. You're here to be strengthened on the way, and it's a beautiful thing. And Jesus does truly desire to put us on his shoulders and carry us. He comes to bring us back to the fold, to lift us up, transform, and heal us. And so our hope and our prayer today is that God's presence, God's commands, God's disciplines on us, that we don't see them as burdens, but we truly do see them as a loving Father guiding his children on the way. And so Jesus says, I come not to call the righteous, but sinners. So we recognize our sin, we recognize God's grace and his call on us that brings us out of ourselves into the life in God.